let me get right now to Nicholas Drummond, who is a defense analyst and a former British Army officer. Nicholas, good day to you.
Hello, good morning.
I do, Nicholas, want to ask you about something that we've heard of repeatedly. Both the President and the U.S. Defense Secretary have come out and said they will not rule out the idea of boots on the ground. But is that just them keeping their options open, or is there an actual possibility that U.S. troops would go to the huge country of Iran?
I think the most likely scenario is small pockets of U.S. forces, special forces, being used to achieve specific mission objectives. But the idea of a wide-scale army or marine deployment is probably unlikely. And the reason for that is because Iran has a very large regular army, 800,000 men. It has a militia force, the Basij, which has 600,000, and obviously the Revolutionary Guard with another 200,000. So to put enough boots on the ground to be able to take out or to effectively compete with those forces would be very challenging indeed. So if US forces are used, it will be as a scalpel to achieve very specific mission objectives.
There's some reporting that out of the Washington Post, the way in which the U.S. and potentially the Israelis were able to identify where the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was and therefore target it in an attack that killed him, is that they were able to use an artificial intelligence tool, Claude, developed by the company Anthropic. Should we be surprised that artificial intelligence is involved in identifying, selecting targets and helping to coordinate attacks?
No, we shouldn't, because AI has been used very effectively in Ukraine. American firms have provided open source intelligence, recognizing who owns mobile phones, following internet searches and all that sort of thing, to provide very accurate targeting information. And a number of top Russian generals in Ukraine were taken out using exactly those means. And that was 2 or 3 years ago. And in that time, AI has advanced significantly to enable new targeting opportunities. And my understanding is that Mossad has had access to Afghanistan people who are deployed, who are living in Iran, and they've used them as intelligence sources. So augmenting a very reliable intelligence source with AI has been very effective. So,
Nicholas, I want to ask you about civilian casualties. It's very clear that they exist in Iran, certainly here in Israel. I mean, I can see civilian apartment buildings, for instance, that have been hit. Those by Iranian drones and missiles. And yet I look at, for instance, Iran, where both the Israelis and the Americans are saying they're just looking at military targets. Explain to me how these are possible, that civilians would be dying if, in fact, these places are indeed just tracking military targets.
So inevitably, you hear reports of a meeting taking place in a building, and you're able to target that building, and sometimes that intel can be wrong, the meeting gets changed or whatever. So civilians can get caught out unexpectedly. That's the fog of war. And of course, the other thing is that it's very likely that the what remains of the Iranian leadership are using human shields to avoid being targeted. And that's a tactic that we've seen used extensively in Gaza and elsewhere. So I would expect that to be used in Iran.
Nicholas Drummond, thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.